Hello and welcome to Chicanime. My name is Lauren and today I am looking at another ZeronicKiba video. This is the Slane Theocracy explained from Overlord. So I have done a couple of his Blank Empire or like whatever explained videos. I really enjoyed them. I especially enjoyed the Baharuth Empire. So I'm looking forward to this one. And I know I keep saying I'm going to watch the movie. I am going to watch the movie. I promise. I'm just like also right now in the middle of like a rehearsal project or a rehearsal process. And so my time is limited in a way that I really was kind of surprised at. So anyway, I am looking forward to this anyway. I'm going to watch the movie. It's probably actually going to be out in June instead of May, especially because people have been saying they want to watch it. They want to do a live viewing. So I need to figure out when people want to do that and then figure out how to do that. But that's where we're at vis-a-vis the movie. That's where we're at. After the show I'm in is over, things will go a little bit, I'll have a little bit more time when I'm not having to be in rehearsal on a lot of nights. So that's that. I'm watching about the Slane Theocracy today. So let's strap in. So without further ado, because that was a very long intro, let's watch ZeronicKiba explain the Slane.
What's going on, and I'm back again. Hey guys, what's going on, and I'm back
Hello.
again today with another installment of Overlord Explained. As I promised in my Baharuth Empire Explained video, today I will be covering the last of the human nations to border Nazarick, the Slane Theocracy.
Cool.
So even though they were posing as Baharuth soldiers when Ainz first met them, the Slane Theocracy is the first antagonistic force that Ainz encounters upon his arrival in the New World. Since that time, they have not shown up much in the anime, as the story has mainly focused on the Riestes Kingdom and the Baharuth Empire. Because of this, people who only watch the anime probably know the least about the Slane Theocracy among the human nations surrounding Nazarick. But that's where I come in to help you guys out.
Which we really appreciate,
As with my
Zeronic.
previous Overlord Explained videos, I will not be getting into plot points involving the Slane Theocracy beyond what has been shown in the anime to avoid light novel spoilers. Additionally, I will be covering the Slane Theocracy from a broad standpoint and will avoid going into too much detail on smaller aspects for time reasons. With that being said, let's get into the video. So as I said before, the Slane Theocracy is a human nation that directly borders Nazarick to the southwest. However, unlike the Riestes Kingdom and the Baharuth Empire, which were formed around 200 years ago, the Slane Theocracy is much older. The Theocracy is one of the oldest established human nations, having a history of over 600 years. The country was originally—
I feel like it makes sense that it's older. I feel like when countries are founded and based in like a religion, a lot of the times they stick around for a little bit longer than other countries do. Because they like get that loyalty in quick, and then you grow up in it.
Originally founded due to the assistance of the first recorded group of players to enter the New World from Yggdrasil, the Six Great Gods. So the real-world definition of a theocracy is the government of a state by immediate divine guidance or by officials who are regarded as divinely guided. This applies to the Slane Theocracy, as their country is structured around the doctrine and religion of the Six Great Gods, who came to be deified by New World inhabitants after their arrival from Yggdrasil. The religion itself is divided into 6 different sections, each designated with colors to represent the god they symbolize, and each have their own doctrines and focuses.
I do wonder if this has been addressed before, if I've just forgotten it, if anyone's talked about it. What's the time differentiation between the real world, or like the human, like our world, or wherever they're playing it, and the New World? Because it's got to be pretty vast, right? Because the players from Yggdrasil showed up hundreds of years ago, but like it was Yggdrasil. So like, is it like I'm just suddenly I'm wondering, I don't know if I've thought this before, if I've like come across this information elsewhere, but like when before Ainz showed up, when did they actually disappear from their when did they show up? You know, when did they disappear from their lives? When did Yggdrasil like zap them here? And is it one of those things where it's like they were all in the same server at the same time as Ainz, but they all like went back to different points in the new world's timeline, like based on time zones or something. Like, did they go and like these guys, they were in a different time zone and so they went earlier. I don't know. Or did they like disappear 2 years ago in the real world? But like, I feel like I think those things almost have to have happened pretty quick, because if people were disappearing out of Yggdrasil, like if they were dying while playing Yggdrasil, wouldn't the game have come under fire in some kind of way? Like, I don't think that like you could have like 15 people or whatever just disappear all playing the same game at various times, and then the game still gets to be allowed to exist. Like, I think it got shut down because people weren't playing it, right? But like, it didn't seem like there were any rumors about people disappearing while playing it or dying while playing the game. And maybe it's just because like the world sucks so much that people don't really care, and people just stop showing up for work. And so then like no one really checked the game logs or anything, but I don't know. I don't know why that suddenly occurred to me that, wait, they all disappeared from Yggdrasil, but they all showed up at different times and like they showed up, they're hundreds of years separated, even though there's no way at all there was hundreds of years between them disappearing in the real world and showing up and like they went to the past, you know? Does that make sense? Am I talking crazy? I feel like I'm talking crazy. I don't know.
The head of state of the Theocracy is referred to as the Pontifex Maximus, who was elected to the position by a conclave of the cardinals. Directly beneath the Pontifex, the cardinals themselves are the highest-ranking authorities amongst the six
right, I called them Magic Catholics. I was calling them Magic Catholics, I remember that now.
Of the nation. However, despite being very highly ranked within the Theocracy, cardinals do not receive wages. This policy was developed to ensure that those who wish to become cardinals would not pursue the title out of greed. Now, despite being the highest-ranking figures within the Theocracy, the Pontifex and cardinals do not have sole political power. Besides the religious authorities, the Theocracy also possesses a government with executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The religious authorities are also assisted directly by a group of advisors. This includes governmental representatives from the three branches, the head of the Magical Research Institute, and the Grand Marshal, the leader of the military. These representatives, along with the Pontifex and Cardinals, make up a group known as the Supreme Council, which is the true ruling body of the Theocracy. The Supreme Council meets within a sacred room where they decide policies, with every member of the council being seen as an equal, including the Pontifex during these meetings. Now, the Slane Theocracy revolves around humanocentric beliefs. They promote human supremacy and the discrimination of non-human races, both within their own country and in others. The military of the Slane Theocracy has been known to wipe out entire villages of demi-humans in observance of their doctrine. Additionally, citizens of the Theocracy that possess non-human ancestry are treated as second-class citizens. While the general population followed these beliefs as teachings of the religion and national philosophy, the higher-ups of the Slane Theocracy view the policy as a tactic to unify humanity against the more powerful non-human races of the New World. They also realize the potential flaw in their nation's philosophy, in that it could eventually bring them into conflict with powerful non-human nations such as the Arglan Council State. Their policy of discrimination and violence towards demi and non-humans has also drawn ire from other human nations, in particular the Riestes Kingdom and the Baharuth Empire. Additionally, the philosophy is also hypocritical, as Sershana, one of the members of the six great gods and regarded as the god of death, was a non-human undead. Another aspect of the Slane Theocracy's religion besides the worship of the six great gods is the existence of Godkins, which are New World inhabitants that are descendant from the six great gods. Citizens of the Theocracy hold Godkins in veneration, and the preservation of the gods' bloodlines is a priority for the Theocracy. To make sure the bloodlines continue, the Slane Theocracy allows for select Godkins to practice polygamy. This, however, is viewed as an extremely archaic practice and is not allowed for all Godkins. Additionally, the Godkins only allowed 2 spouses at most. An additional important aspect of the religion of the Theocracy is the Miko princesses, who are powerful magic casters that are tied to each element of the 6 gods: fire, water, earth, wind, light, and darkness. Miko princesses are at the heart of the Slane Theocracy's rituals and are necessary for their completion. Miko princesses are also denoted by their crowns of wisdom, which are powerful items considered treasures by the Theocracy. In truth, though, the crowns basically reduce the wearer to that of a puppet. In addition, the crown can't be removed without leaving the wearer's mind completely ruined. The detailed description of the crown that was shown in the second light novel reads, changes the wearer into an item that activates extremely high-ranked magic. One of the crowns is also shown in Season 1 of the anime that was stolen from the Miko Princess of Earth by Clementine. Also, judging by their designation Miko, as well as the name of the capital of the Theocracy being Kami Miyako, we can assume the six great gods integrated some aspects of Japanese culture into the Theocracy. Now, moving on to the military of the Theocracy, they are considered the most powerful human military in the region. Similarly to the Baharuth Empire, they have a standing military of professional full-time soldiers, which increases their quality and power. Additionally, due to the technology, items, and magic that is available to the Slane Theocracy, their knights are said to be, on average, much more powerful than those of the Empire. The Theocracy's military contains 6 scriptures, which are elite secret military organizations. Each of them has their own beliefs, principles, and doctrines, and each one corresponds to one of the 6 great gods. They are usually deployed based on the specific skill set required for the mission, but they have also been known to conduct joint operations. 5 of the 6 scriptures have been identified in the Overlord light novel. These include the Sunlight Scripture, which specializes in the suppression of demi-human and heteromorphic settlements and armies, the Windflower Scripture, which specializes in espionage and intelligence gathering, the Clearwater Scripture, which specializes in spying and enemy infiltration, the Firestorm Scripture, which specializes in assassination, guerrilla warfare, and counterterrorism, and the Black Scripture, which specializes in fighting particularly powerful non-human beings such as Dragon Lords. The Black Scripture is considered the trump card of the Theocracy, and is its most powerful scripture. Some of the Black Scripture members are also equipped with what is known as divine equipment, which are Yggdrasil items that were left behind by the 6 great gods. An example being Zeshi's scythe, which is from Yggdrasil and was likely used by the god of death Sershana. The only 2 scriptures so far that have been shown in the anime are the Sunlight Scripture, which is the group that Ainz encountered in Karn Village.
They were pretty weak. He destroyed them very easily. Bye, guys. Rip.
And the Black Scripture, which is the group that encountered Shaltir when she was brainwashed by the world item, Downfall of
And they did much better.
Another large boon to the Slane Theocracy's military is the presence of the previously mentioned Godkins. Being descendant from players, the Godkins have much greater fighting abilities and are considered to be amongst the most powerful of New World inhabitants, being considered demigods. It is common for them to have superhuman strength and have abilities that set them apart from the rest of humanity. However, not all Godkins have equivalent strength. Amongst Godkins, there are those who are awakened to their strength, and those that are not. Awakened Godkins are much more powerful than those that are not.
How do you awaken?
Therefore, the power disparity between Godkins is quite large. Currently, all of the Godkins that have been revealed in the series have been a part of the Black Scripture, which includes the leader of the Black Scripture and Zeshi Zetsume, who is the most powerful warrior of the Slane Theocracy. In one of the author Maruyama's tweets, he acknowledged that Zeshi is more powerful than Lupus Regina, one of the ladies of Nazarick who is level 59. Shaltir also assessed during their encounter that the captain of the Black Scripture was stronger than Solution, another one of the ladies who is level 57. So while not being on par with Ainz or the Guardian NPCs, this assessment still shows that Godkins are incredibly powerful when compared to typical New World human inhabitants. The Slane Theocracy also has a very good command structure, with the ability to set up national-level organizations, being one of the only countries capable of doing so. The Theocracy also possesses an institutionalized divine magic training system that is comparable to the system present in the Baharuth Empire. The Theocracy also has a focus on casting faith and divine-based magic, with even the Baharuth Empire making requests for the Theocracy to share their teachings. Their rituals with the Miko princesses also allow the Theocracy to access magic that would normally be impossible for humans to achieve, having rituals that can produce 7th-tier magic. On top of that, they have priests who are capable of using resurrection magic, and as stated previously, have access to several powerful items from Yggdrasil left behind by the 6 great gods.
Again, another reason why it does make sense that their community is the oldest one, or like older, because if they were actually getting their stuff from the 6 great gods, like, you know, like that's just bound to be a little bit more powerful than anybody else who's just kind of doing it on their own, right? Like, pretty good. Like, makes sense that their stuff sticks around. Also, it's like, hey, we've got actual, like, God-touched items that allow us to do crazy things. Also, several of our gods were active in the bedrooms of several of our people. And we got some extra people from that, too. That's... Okay.
So in terms of personnel, skill, power, items, and magic, the Slane Theocracy outclasses pretty much all human nations in the region.
Yeah,
now, when discussing the foreign relations of the Slane Theocracy, they have much more involved relations when compared to the Kingdom and the Empire due to their power, age, and geographical position. Being a religious state, the Theocracy has many issues with foreign nations due to religious differences.
Yeah, I bet.
This includes the Riestes Kingdom, the Baharuth Empire, and the Roble Holy Kingdom, who have different state religions. The religion of those countries is the worship of the four great gods, which is a deviation of the Slane Theocracy's religion. Also, fun fact, in the southern region of the Baharuth Empire, Buddhism is also present and was likely brought over to the New World from Yggdrasil. Despite these feelings, many of the human nations in the region view the Theocracy as a necessary evil, as their actions have allowed human nations to grow when they would have been typically wiped out by encroaching demi-human nations. According to the author Maruyama, if the Slane Theocracy fell, the Riestes Kingdom, the Baharuth Empire, and the Roble Holy Kingdom will fall soon after to monsters. Now, when speaking about the relations with the Riestes Kingdom, the Theocracy actually helped shepherd the kingdom during their beginning in the hopes that it would allow for humanity to grow due to the natural barriers that surround the kingdom. However, this had the opposite effect that the Theocracy wanted, as the peaceful lifestyle resulted in the kingdom becoming a cesspool of corruption that the Theocracy wants to eradicate. However, the Theocracy does not want to conquer the Riestes Kingdom, as that would leave them bordering the demi-human Arglan Council state. Instead, they plan on weakening the kingdom through espionage and small skirmishes, such as the attempted assassination of Gazef shown in Season 1 of the anime. This in turn they hope will lead to the Baharuth Empire conquering the kingdom. As for the aforementioned Baharuth Empire, the Theocracy has been monitoring them for a long time and considers it to be the more successful nation compared to the kingdom.
By a lot.
This in turn motivated the Theocracy to permit the Empire's conquest of the kingdom. However, despite favoring the Baharuth Empire, they are still reluctant to share their teachings in divine magic with them. Additionally, since the Empire has publicly aligned themselves with Nazarick, the Theocracy has become more wary of the Empire. As for the Arglan Council state, due to the human supremacist doctrine of the Theocracy, the formation of a demi-human nation is seen as a grave threat to humanity. From a citizen's point of view, the Theocracy and Council state actively hate each other. However, despite their obvious hatred of non-humans, the leaders of the Slane Theocracy recognize their military limits. They are reluctant to wage open war against the Council State due to the power possessed by members of the state, such as Platinum Dragonlord. As stated previously, they are reluctant to conquer the Riestes Kingdom, as bordering the Council State would result in the population
let other people do their dirty work for
which
them,
would likely be disastrous for the Theocracy. As such, despite their hatred for the Council State, the Theocracy is careful when managing their relationship with them and still possess the means to open dialogues with them through Platinum Dragonlord. As for the Dragon Kingdom, similarly to the Baharuth Empire, the Theocracy provides the Dragon Kingdom with military aid against the Beastman country in exchange for tribute. The Theocracy honors this deal as they wish to help suppress the growing presence of the demi-human Beastman country in the east. The Theocracy also possesses a complicated relationship with the Roble Holy Kingdom. Due to religious differences, the relationship between them has been volatile. However, despite this, they have found common ground due to their struggles with the demi-human tribes that live within the bordering Abelion Hills. And if the word Abelion sounds familiar, you remember that scene where Demiurge called the creatures he was skinning for scroll parchment Abelion sheep? That's where the name comes from. Yeah, Demiurge is really freaking evil. Lastly, I want to talk about the Theocracy's relationship with a country I have yet to mention in any of my Overlord Explained videos, the Elf country. Sometime in the past, the Elves and the Theocracy had a cooperative relationship. However, this changed when the Elf King tricked and kidnapped the strongest Godkin of the Theocracy. Since this happened, the Theocracy and the Elf country have been in a war that has lasted decades. The progress in the war is slow going due to most of the Elf country being hard to traverse woodlands and the Elves using guerrilla tactics. Despite this, the Slane Theocracy has the advantage in the war due to their superior military. Are they still trying to rescue the Godkin, or is this like a revenge mission? Like, are they trying to get them back? Also resulted in the enslavement of elves, which is considered a popular and expensive commodity within the Theocracy. The war is still ongoing during the story of Overlord. So, in summary, while they haven't been shown much in the anime up to this point, many of the plot points in Season 1 involve the Slane Theocracy. This includes Einz's confrontation with the Sunlight Scripture, the theft and destruction of a Crown of Wisdom, and the Black Scripture's encounter with Shaltir. Each of these encounters damaged the Theocracy and has left them short-handed. Additionally, the use of a world item on Shaltir by the Slane Theocracy is indirectly responsible for the formation of the Sorcerer Kingdom, as that action motivated Ainz to be more proactive and aggressive against powers in the world. So despite their lack of presence in subsequent seasons, the Theocracy has had a huge impact on the world of
They're biding their time.
And will no doubt remain a pivotal part of the story later on. So guys, that pretty much covers the major aspects of the Slane Theocracy. Since it's the strongest and oldest of the human nations I have covered, this one took much longer to go over, and there were also more minor details I likely skipped over. This just goes to show you how detailed and massive the world of Overlord is, and why I love diving into it so much. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that like button to let me know you want to see more. Leave your thoughts on the Slane Theocracy in the comment section below. I have been loving the feedback I've been getting on Overlord Explained videos from you guys. And if you aren't already, please subscribe to the channel, as it helps me out more than you know, and it'll also let you know when I post in the future. With that said, I want to thank you all for watching to the very end of the video.
You're welcome.
I will see you all next time. Later.
Hey, guys, hey, stop. Okay. Okay, though. But I do have a lot of questions now about the timelines, and like, is it a Narnia kind of thing? Did they all like disappear actually at the same time, but they popped up in different timelines or like in different periods in the timeline and the actual country? I mean, in the new world, or did they actually disappear a couple years ago in the real world, only to be shunted back hundreds and hundreds of years in the new world? Like, I don't know. I just like, I'm very curious now as to when the Greed Kings and when the Great Gods and all of them, when those players disappeared relative to when Momonga disappeared. So if they've answered that and I just have forgotten, tell me the answer. Or is there a video about it somewhere? I mean, there is a video here that ZeronicKiba did that's all the players in the New World revisited. I don't know. Does that one have the information that I'm looking for? It's a question that I didn't realize I had or don't remember having had before. So thank you for watching this video. I do hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what to look at next. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did like it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.